On this Friday night baseball in San Diego, he returns home, a San Diego high school star, Carlos Quentin, who is 7 for 12 and 3 home runs in 3 games in Chicago. As we welcome you to Padre Baseball, the first of a 3-game series, first of a 6-game homestand, as the Padres entertain the Arizona Diamondbacks. Well, yesterday, one of our own, a 14-year-old from San Diego, won the National Spelling Bee. So here's a word for us today. Auspicious. A-U-S-P-I-C-I-O-U-S. Can you use it in a sentence? Carlos Quentin in Chicago.
Oh, he putting on a show. It was great to see Carlos just get right back into the big league level and come out hacking. That's exactly what he did. The first pitch he saw, he swung on a miss. It was a high slider, but he made the Cubs pay later on. 7 for 12, 3 home runs. The first Padre player in the history of the franchise to hit 3 home runs in his first 3 games, going the opposite way as well, going right off his own nugget on the scoreboard. But he feels healthy, he feels confident, got to carry it over back to home here where he was a USDHS graduate. Good for him.
You spelled that well, too.
I did, thank you.
And a 1,500 slugging percentage. Well, a roster change today. The switch hitting catcher that came as part of the 4-man deal from Cincinnati for Matt Latos, Yasmani Grandal, called up from Tucson, switch hitter. 317 is average, a 421 on-base percentage, and he's got power from both sides.
He does. He's a big kid, 6'2", 210. Buddy Black is not going to sit him. Look forward to him being playing and getting in there to be successful. He's going to put him in a good situation. And Jeff Suppan, we wish him well. Not only did he give him innings, he gave him a lot of heart and soul in that clubhouse. We wish Jeff well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is the first of a 6-game homestand. The Padres struggled from that road trip, 1-9. It's a new month, the start of June, and perhaps some winning ways. Wade Miley, he's been a winner for Arizona, 6-1. Clayton Richard, a record of 3-0 against the D-backs. We're ready for baseball in San Diego. On Beer Fest night, the Padres hope to brew up a win to start the month of June. We're underway, and the first pitch swinging is Willie Bloomquist right to the second baseman, Amarista, for the first out. 1 pitch, 1 out for Clayton Richard. Now look at the Arizona line up. with Willie Bloomquist, Aaron Hill, Justin Upton, the first three. Upton's had some big games against the Padres. Montero, much richer since we last saw him, a long-term contract. Chris Young injured for a month, back in the lineup. Paul Goldschmidt, good-looking first baseman. Then Ryan Roberts, Gerardo Parra, and Wade Miley on the mound. Look at Miley's average. He's 8 for 18 as a hitter. Aaron Hill, he takes a strike. Came over with John McDonald from Toronto in August last year in a trade for Kelly Johnson. Played his college ball with the Bayou Tigers of LSU. 1-1. If you looked on the home run totals for the D-backs coming into the game, they have 3 men with 5, and that tops the club. Somewhat surprising, especially playing in Arizona. Smothered out in front of the plate. Hundley pounces. 2 away. Couple of ground ball outs, easy outs for Richard. Here's the defense in the outfield. Quentin in left, Maven in center, Denorfia, Starcy in right, Headley, Cabrera, Amarista, and Alonso on the infield, and Nick Hundley behind the plate. Couple of quick outs, and here is right fielder Justin Upton.
Well, we know that Clayton likes to work quickly, and if he's working quickly and throwing strikes, he's going to have a good night. The big key is that fastball in the inside corner to the right-handed hitters.
He's been very difficult to hit for the left-handed hitters. 151, and hasn't given up a home run to a lefty all year. But right-handers batting 284. And all 9 of the home runs he's allowed have come from the right side.
That's why I think it's so effective and a must-do for Clayton Richard, not to just pitch away to righties. I think they get comfortable. He can saw him off with that slider and fastball in.
Threw that one by Upton, who has 5 home runs. Against Richard, he's 4 for 8 lifetime. Just 24 years young, from Chesapeake, Virginia.
And you can see the balls and strikes brought to you by good friends at Southland Technology.
By the mound, another chance for Amarista. A 1-2-3 inning as Clayton Richard keeps the D-backs on the infield. Coming up, Denorfia, Maven, and Alonso in the Padre first. AT&T. Rethink possible. And by Petco, where the healthy pets go. And welcome back to Petco Park. Still plenty of daylight. The marine cover basically keeping it cool. And we'll see how the ball carries after the wind of Chicago blowing 8 home runs, helping 8 home runs by the Padres in that 3-game series. Bud Black sends up Chris Denorfia to lead off, then Maven and Alonso with Carlos Quentin in the cleanup hole. Chase Headley bats 5th, then Hundley, Cabrera, Amarista, and Richard against Wade Miley, 25-year-old from Laurentier, Louisiana. 6-1 is Miley, and his basically rookie year. First pitch swinging. Denorfia slaps that one foul. There are the numbers for Miley. A .241 batting average against. Solid 2.41 ERA. And the batting average against is .241.
Yeah, and the walks are down for Wade Miley. He works quickly, a fastball, slider, curve, and a change.
Denorfia went to the barber. A little shave.
Yeah. Going back to the prospect look.
That's what happens when you come home and the lady of the house says, Chopped to Miley. Another ground ball out. Here's the Arizona defense tonight. In the outfield, Gold Glove Gerardo Parra in left field with Young and Upton. Roberts at third, Bloomquist the shortstop, Hill and Goldschmidt on the right side, and Montero behind the plate. Miguel, just a week or so ago, signed a 5-year extension and a $60 million deal. Cameron Maybin, after missing all of the Chicago series and was out of the lineup as a starter for 4 games with a sore wrist, back in tonight. First pitch, chops it up the middle. Hill with the throw. So each pitcher has the ground ball out working. All 5 outs so far on the infield.
Working quickly and working down in the zone. That's the main objective for any pitcher, but we've seen a clinic going on here in the 5 hitters so far in this ball game.
Now Yonder Alonso back home and hopes to find that hitting stroke after a 10-game hitting streak. He finished the road trip 0 for 16. Brian Gorman barks out ball 1. Gorman behind the plate with Titchener, Porter, and Randazzo on the bases. Kurt Gibson, the manager of the year, chopped to the left side. Roberts on the run. Miley matches Richard. 3 ground ball outs in a quick 1-2-3 inning. Three ground ball outs in 1-2-3 first innings. Now we go to the second. Miguel Montero leads it off, the cleanup man for the D-backs.
Well, these guys are coming out hacking today, Mr. Enberg.
Well, they had a day off, and they're probably thinking about, I got to get that bat back in my hands.
Well, it seems to me that if these hitters, Padres and Arizona Diamondbacks alike, see the fastball, they are going to start swinging it.
One ball, one strike.
Clayton. It's an exciting time for him, not only as a major league pitcher, but he'll be a father sometime this summer. His wife Ashley, former Michigan volleyball star.
So their kids will probably be terrible athletes.
Yeah.
How about that? Major League Baseball player, former quarterback, and a volleyball player at a Big Ten school.
2-2, and
the next Bruce Jenner, maybe?
Yeah, 21 years from now, we'll be saying, I was there calling games when his father was pitching.
That's right.
Sammy Richard on the mound. Montero, then Chris Young and Goldschmidt to hit here in the second. That was close. Slider misses away, and the count is full on Miguel Montero. 107 RBIs the last 2 years for Montero. That's the best of any National League catcher, and he takes ball 4, first base runner, as we go to our Lexus keys to the game. Mark.
Well, since it's National Donut Day, and thanks to Mark Sweeney for mentioning that, I really appreciate it. Donuts for the D-backs. Let's have 9 French curlers up on that line score at the end of the day, and go to paw the Snakes.
Close.
If you were in with the spelling bee information that we talked about earlier, read the paper this morning, the word that won it all was
guet-apens, which is a French derivation word meaning
to snare, ambush, trap. So say it again, Mr. Renberg.
Guet-apens.
Guet-apens the Snakes. Ambush them, snare them, trap them, keep them in there.
Don't let them rattle.
Exactly.
1 strike to Chris Young. Well, we salute, and we're probably mispronouncing her name, Snigdha Nandapati, 14 years of age, an 8th grader at Francis Parker, who won the National Spelling Bee contest.
Spell her name.
Nandipati.
You are correct,
Nandapati, and I'll use it in the sentence. She's national champion. Ground ball deep at the hole. They might get the force there, but not the double play, as Young runs much too quickly, and he's safe on the fielder's choice. 6-4 on the putout of Montero.
Even though it was not a completed double play, nice turn. Cabrera, Amarista over to Alonso. Good flip throws, especially Amarista at second base. Nice flip, good throw. Got rid of that very quickly. So that's good to see, even though they get the lead runner, which is the big main objective. Nice.
Paul Goldschmidt, young first baseman, only 24. He had the game-winning home run against Tim Lincecum and the Giants in their last game. He's owned Lincecum in 14 at-bats against the Giants right-hander. He has 4 home runs. A total of 4 on this season. Keep an eye on Chris Young there at first base. Although he hasn't run much this year, he's only tried to steal 3 times, successful twice. .91 on that fastball.
Yeah, sneaky fast on the fastball. Well, we know that Goldschmidt has got some power. You take a look at the outfield, playing him to go on the opposite way in the outfield, so a big gap in left center field for Goldschmidt. It tells me they're going to try to pound fastballs away, breaking balls in.
Over but high. 95 on that fastball from Clayton Richard.
Do not want to let those hands get extended. Paul Goldschmidt. And if Richard's going to be throwing that breaking ball to the big right-handed hitter, heads up, Chase Headley and Everett Cabrera at shortstop for the ground ball.
Changeup misses away, 2-2. So during the course, when the spirit of winning the National Spelling Bee contest and one of our own here in San Diego, I thought it'd be interesting because you've always said you were a terrific speller throughout your career, academic career. I'll give you 3, baseball type terms, and we'll see how we do. We'll start with someone we just saw in Chicago. The manager of the Cubs, Dale Schwame. How do you spell Schwame?
Can you use it in a sentence, please, sir?
Dale Schwame is the manager of the Chicago Cubs.
Can you say it one more time, please?
Schwame, Cubs manager.
Schwame, S-V-E-U-M, Schwame.
You're correct. That's one down, 2 to go. 2-2 the count. Foul back. Here's one. It's going to be interesting.
Okay.
A phrase or a word you use often. Shillelagh.
Shillelagh. S-H-I-L-L-E-L-A-G-H. Shillelagh.
Outstanding. I didn't think he'd get that. 2 down. A bell means you're advancing. Looking at Hundley, he's in a crouch. Crouch. Can you spell crouch?
Crouch. C-R-O-T-C-H.
Oh, that's crotch.
Oh, my bad.
You were doing so well.
I forgot the U.
3-2 to Goldschmidt, and he had a good rip at that one.
So do I advance or am I gone?
That was a trick question, so I was going to give you one other. Samardzija, the pitcher from Chicago. You can think about it. Full count on Goldschmidt, 1 out, Young at first. Ripped into left field for a base hit. Quentin gets it in. Holding at second is Young. So the D-backs have something stirring here in the second inning on the walk-in single by Goldschmidt. Brings up Ryan Roberts.
He's got a big swing from the crouch, as you were mentioning, like a catcher. Goldschmidt also kind of hits from a crouch to use those legs. I think Clayton Richard, yeah, he's going to give up some singles, but if you keep him in the ball yard, I think you've won the war there. Still keep the double play in order and hopefully get a grounder right here from Roberts.
The hit extends Goldschmidt's batting streak to 10 straight games, hitting well over 400 in the 10 games. Brian Roberts, pesky hitter, 226 average, but he'll hit with surprising power at times. A slider in for a strike.
Samardzija, P-I-T-C-H-E-R, F-O-R-T-H-E-C-U-B-S.
Well, that's a long word. There are a lot of letters in that word. 0-1. That just misses 92. That is a last name like an eye chart, isn't it?
S-A-M-A-R-D-Z-I-J-A. Samardzija.
Absolutely right. I thought I'd get you on that one.
Thank you.
Get out the trophy. Fly ball center. Right center. Maben setting himself for the throw to third, but no try by Young to advance. 2 away. Well, we've had big baseball news tonight in the Big Apple as Johan Santana, who shut out the Padres in his last outing, no hits the Cardinals tonight. The first Met pitcher to toss a no-hitter. And that leaves only one team in the major leagues without that moment, a no-hit game.
It's amazing. We talked about it when we were in New York. You see the line score that all the great pitchers that have pitched for the New York Mets since 1962, Johan Santana goes in the record books for the first no-hitter in franchise history.
And the Padres still looking for their first, the only team without one. Left-handed hitting Gerardo Parra steps up. 25-year-old Venezuelan. Young at second. Goldschmidt at first. 2 outs here in the top of the second inning. Tied him up with a fastball inside.
And I like the call from Brian Gorman. That was a legitimate strike. Dick, you and I were talking about that last game, about how the belt buckle pitch, even a ball above, should be a strike, and I think that's what Brian Gorman just called. We can see it on our pitch tracks.
Threw that one right through the swing of Parra.
Looks like Parra having a difficult time picking up that baseball out of the hand of Clayton Richard. 92 on the heater. We've seen him at 91 to 95.
Pitcher's pitch, 1-2. Wouldn't chase the slider or running fastball. Had a lot of movement.
You're right. That fastball did have a little run on it, down and away. Almost had that slider-like action. You take a look, 25 pitches this inning, high on that pitch count. Got to throw up a donut though this inning.
Off the fist, Amarista, and the inning's over. No runs a hit. The D-backs lead 2. Coming up to lead off the second, Carlos Quentin. Don't forget, tomorrow night it'll be Volquez against Hudson, game 2, and that'll be the Padre jersey giveaway. The first 25,000 of you here will receive a Padre practice jersey. 4:15 for game time. And those of you who don't come out, check the Fox Sports National telecast, and my partner will be featured as the key analyst tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Going to work with Darren Sutton, the play-by-play voice of the Diamondbacks. Be a fun day at the yard.
Carlos Quentin, will his sensational start as a Padre in those 3 games in Chicago carry over to Petco? He gets a fastball. Slugging percentage of 1,583. High slice fly ball into the right field corner, into the bullpen, and Young can't get there. Ooh. Pulled up a bit as he saw that railing coming up to greet him.
Yes, he did. He pulled up about a good 6-8 feet, it looked like.
Well, he ran into a wall early in the season, and that took him out of play for a month.
Well, Carlos Quentin gets another crack at it.
Quentin, then Headley and Hundley in the bottom of the second.
Three pitches in the strike zone. 2 foul balls. Riley is not afraid to challenge him with the fastball.
And another fastball. Yeah, Bud Black, revolving door personnel. He's got a new man in that dugout with him, Yasmani Grandal, the young catcher. Up the middle, off the glove of Miley, picked up by the second baseman, and a 1-4-3 put out on the carom off Quentin's bat to Miley and to Hill.
If that ball does not hit the glove of Wade Miley, possibly that ball gets into the outfield for a base knock.
4 ground outs in a row thrown up there by Miley. There's Yasmani Grandal, University of Miami, teammate of Blake T. Cody and Jason Haggerty.
Well, they had a heck of a team, didn't they, for the Canes?
Followed Yonder Alonso.
Yes.
And he and Alonso both escaping Cuba with their families as young boys, 8, 9, 10 years old. And both then go to the University of Miami to play their baseball. Headley, 1-1 the count. Chop to the left side. That's Roberts cutting in front of the shortstop Bloomquist to make the play. 5 straight ground outs.
And our Geico quote of the day is from Yasmani Grandal about his thoughts being called up to the big leagues.
I mean, it's just exciting. You know, it's a dream come true, just making it to the big leagues, you know. So I'm just trying to do my best now, trying to help the team win, and hopefully, you know, I'll be able to do my job up here.
He undoubtedly, with the games scheduled ahead, after the 6 games in this homestand, 3 with Arizona, 3 with San Francisco, they go on the road. Milwaukee, then 2 American League teams, Seattle and Oakland. So then you can use the designated hitter, and it figures that with his big bat, and he, remember in spring training, I mean, he and Quentin were the two. The sounds were different when they took batting practice. Hundley falls behind 1-2.
You know, when that trade went down in the offseason, I called some people in Cincinnati, and they said of all the players, good players, the one that's really going to stick out is Yasmani Grandal. They said, watch out for this kid.
Struck him out. 6 up, 6 down. Impressive start for Wade Miley. An impressive season for the lefty. He's 6-1. Tomorrow, 4:15 game time, and take home a Padres replica jersey presented by Petco. First 25,000 of you will receive that Padres alternate jersey. Get your tickets at Padres.com or call 619-795-5555. Clayton Richard to Wade Miley. Miley 8 for 18. Now he can swing the stick.
Yeah, the concentration has to stay the same with Miley at the plate for Clayton Richard.
Slaps that one foul, stays alive, 2 strikes.
That swing was right out of the Ichiro Suzuki school of hacking.
And you see where Ichiro for the first time yesterday was not in the starting lineup. Off the fist to left field. Quentin goes back. Boy, punched that inside out and got a lot of wood on it.
Did a nice job taking that ball the other way as well, rather than trying to pull the ball. Barrel follows the hands inside out that baseball, and a nice line drive for out number 1.
That's the kind of swing Mark Sweeney enjoys seeing, even if it is a pitcher.
Absolutely.
Willie Bloomquist grounded to second base to open the game. Well, Clayton Richard, 2 different pitchers. The one we see here at Petco and the one on the road. Whoa! Almost took his glove right off his hand as Bloomquist, a solid single to center field. Richard here at Petco is 2-2 with a 2.30 ERA. On the road, he's 0-4 with a 6.57 ERA.
I'm just glad that that did not get Clayton Richard into throwing arm. A serious hockey suit right there, right up the box. And I'll tell you what, those numbers, Dick Enberg, to me are a conundrum.
Ooh, I won't ask you to spell it. Oh, okay. I know you've been studying. Oh, I could see some gray matter burning over there. I'll give you a clue. It doesn't start with K. Aaron Hill tapped out in front of the plate. Hundley threw him out. Good looking pitch. 1-1. It's a tough move to read, and you'll see most every base runner, they'll take their lead, and as Richard stretches, they're heading back to first base. They're not going to take any chance on leaning towards second base.
I think the only way they're going to steal is if they go on the first move, if they put a runner in motion.
Two and one now to Aaron Hill with Bloomquist at first. And Justin Upton on deck. No score, top of the third, 1 out.
Looked underneath it just a little bit. Did not get that release point out in front.
9 runners picked off by Padre pitchers, best in the National League.
Anytime you can get an out on the base paths, that's a feather in your cap.
To third. Headley in between Hop. There's one. And not in time to double up Aaron Hill. Close play, but Hill runs better than average. He's safe at first on the fielder's choice.
You know, I want to credit Chase Headley for staying in front of that baseball and not olaying it. This ball nearly eats him up. Glove in front of him, takes it right in the gut, fires a strike to Amarista. And the second time we've seen the footwork of Amarista around the second base bag. Boy, he clears that alley nicely. Gets through the bag, gets out of the runner's sliding lane to fire a strike over to first base. And once again, you know, Hill gets down the line pretty well.
For Headley, he came up with a very difficult hop.
That was nice.
Justin Upton grounded to second his first time. These D-backs are 13-13 this year on the road. They've had trouble winning at home. They're only 10-15. The defending National League West champs. Slider hangs outside. So a new month. April, Padres were 7-17. In May, they were 10-18. They were all right to mid-month, and then that 1-9 road trip took a bite out of high hopes. Not hit that well. A long run for Quentin. And he hustles the ball in on a long single by Justin Upton. Hit it off the end of the bat. Found just the right spot in left center.
And you have to play on the deep side to kind of respect the power of Justin Upton. Remember, Carlos Quentin, he tracked down some baseballs at Wrigley Field nicely down in the corner. This is a long run for the left fielder for the Padres after knee surgery. Pitches on the one bounce. Does a nice pivot to get that ball in. I think he may have been fooled by the swing as well, Dick, because as you mentioned, off the end of the bat with the big swing, the ball didn't travel as well.
Now he hustled it in to keep Upton at first base. So first and third with Aaron Hill over third and 2 out. Montero walked his first time up. '28-year-old catcher. Tough with runners in scoring position. Tied him up inside. Good fastball, and it's 0-2.
Good two-seam fastball. You know, it might be a four-seam, but it has two-seam action because that ball kind of went down and into the left-handed hitting Montero. That means when Clayton Richard gets that movement, what's that tell you? It tells you that he's staying on top of the baseball and getting that pronation out front.
Line drive center field. That'll get the run home. Hill scores. Upton moves up to second, and the D-backs lead 1-0 on the RBI single. Miguel Montero's 22nd run batted in.
Well, he had him 0-2. That hurts Clayton Richard. And that's just too good of a pitch. 0-2 right down the center of the plate. And he knew it. As soon as he gave up that hit, it was a mistake.
Richard peppered by a couple of line drives right back through the box. The first by Bloomquist, and now the RBI from Montero. Chris Young, he was safe on a fielder's choice, his first at bat. Another D-back with a 300+ average with runners in scoring position. That was the failing of the Padres on the road trip. They were 4 for 44.
You know, it's almost like when the Padres had hitting, the pitchers didn't come through, and when they had great pitching, they couldn't get any offense.
That really was the tale of the road trip. A true conundrum.
I'm getting there.
Clock is on, though. We'll have to ask you for your answer in the next half inning. 2-strike pitch, outside and high.
Well, the velocity is good from Richard. 94 on that last fastball.
In the dirt. I'm surprised you didn't ask me to use conundrum in a sentence. You know, my relatives lived in a 2-bedroom conundrum. Two balls and 2 strikes. Two on. A run home here in the third. Might be a play. Alonso over to the railing, and that'll fall just over the rail into the first row.
Well, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to go before the clock runs out. Conundrum. C-O-N-U-N-D-R-U-M. Conundrum.
And our judges, you got it.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
One of the biggest victories of my elementary school life. I won our little local
spelling
bee.
Really?
I got a dictionary. Detroit News sponsored the spelling bee, and you got a full-size bound dictionary with your name on it, a little gold lettering. Still have it. Outside, 3-2.
What was the winning word?
Well, I went to the regionals and I lost on impious, and I knew that inside out, and I froze. I just froze. Impious.
And then, like this, impious. Like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah, that's about right. Full count. Hit the left center field. Quentin's got a beat on it. But the D-backs are on the board first to run on 3 singles and leave 2.
By a score of 1-0, and against the Arizona Diamondbacks, we are on the bottom of the 3rd inning. Interesting note about Yasmani Grandal, the new addition to the Padres, just called up from Tucson, the young catcher. Grandal talked about not only wanting to contribute defensively and learning all of his catching skills. Buddy Black said that he has improved in that area, but also wanting to get on base. He knows the offensive needs here. Hit .317 with Tucson, 10 doubles so far this season, 4 home runs, and said he knows that that's what he needs to be doing. So he's in the right mind offensively as we go back upstairs. Dick Enberg and Mark Grant.
All right, Layla, thank you. And Grandal has a good eye. He walked a lot down at Tucson as well. He had a .421 on base percentage. Cabrera takes it low, and it's 1-2. A curveball. 6 straight retired by Wade Miley, now working with the lead, 1-0. Cabrera, Amarista, and the pitcher Richard here in the 3rd, and down goes Cabrera, the 2nd strikeout for Wade Miley. A curveball got him. Our Saquon Decation strikeout statistic. Fewest strikeouts by pitchers this year. The Diamondbacks are at the bottom of the rung.
A lot of balls being put in play. Hopefully the Padres can put some balls in play and get some base runners and score some points against these Snakes.
Amarista slaps that one deep to left field. Parra going back, turned around, and he can't get it. Amarista is going to try for 3. Parra had trouble finding the ball, and Amarista's in there. First Padre hit of the night, a triple. Amarista surprising Parra with his power, and Parra got turned around, couldn't get himself in position to make the catch.
He was playing on the shallow side. He's got to give a big run, a long run from Parra, and in the meantime, as that ball's coming down, it's slicing towards the left field line. He got caught in no man's land, got all twisted up, no chance of catching that baseball, and that's a triple for Alexi.
And here's Clayton Richard and the infield in tight. We'll see if Bud Black goes to a squeeze. Outside. Clayton Richard's been up 22 times this year, has 1 hit, and that, you'll remember, was that pinch hit that led to a win against the Angels in the last homestand.
Put a good hack on one. He will swing as hard as he can just in case he makes contact. Cutting down the range of the infielders with the infielders playing on the grass. And also the outfielders playing on the shallow side as well. Chris Young, Gerardo Parra, very shallow in center and in left.
Chopped on contact. Here comes Amarista. He will score. It's tied at 1. Richard's first RBI of the year.
See what putting the ball in play can do. It doesn't even have to be a hot smash. Just playing a game of pepper, even with the infield in. Amarista scores easily. Clayton Richard helping his own cause. He can do it all.
Top of the order, Chris Denorfia. Chopped it back to the mound his first time up. Now that's a big run for the Padres. You give up the lead 1-0 and come right back and negate the run scored by Arizona. High pop up left side. Shortstop Bloomquist waits for it to come down. And that's the story for the Padres in the third, but it's a positive one. Triple Amarista, ground out Richard. We're tied at 1. Three singles in the top of the third. The Padres answer with Amarista's triple and the ground out by Clayton Richard. Paul Goldschmidt, then Ryan Roberts and Gerardo Parra. Top of the fourth inning against Clayton Richard. Pours in a strike. Goldschmidt lined a single to left field his first at bat.
Oh, Mark Sweeney is down by our dugout, and Mark, it just goes to show you how important it is for pitchers to take batting practice just on working, making contact.
Yeah, exactly what you said, Mark. Just putting the ball in play and making things happen and not striking out. That's the biggest part of, especially in those RBI situations. You saw that Clayton Richard really spread apart, wanted to just make contact, and good things happen when you do that.
That Amarista has surprising power, doesn't he, Mark?
He does, Dick, and he takes a hack there. Offensively, surprisingly, these guys really need to step out against Wade Miley. He has a real fast repertoire. Same with Clayton Richard. These guys offensively need to step out and go on their own time.
1 ball and 2 strikes now to Goldschmidt. Stepping out, you mean get out of the batter's box, slow down the pitching rhythm of these lefties.
Yeah, offensively, you really want to go on your own pace.
Mark, you mentioned something earlier about eliminating a pitch. Explain to our viewers exactly what that means.
Well, when you're over the railing or you're watching the game, Mark, you always want to take their worst pitch away from them. If they're not commanding the slider or the curveball, or maybe it might be the changeup, you want to take that away and eliminate it from your mind. You also want to go fastball, breaking ball if that's the case.
Lined into the left field corner and fair ball. Goldschmidt has another hit. And he cruises into second base with a leadoff double. 2 for 2 for Goldschmidt, who came in with a 9-game hitting streak, batting .419 in those 9, and it's 2 for 2. 2 solid shots.
Paul Goldschmidt grips it and rips it, and he hits the ball so hard that ball doesn't have time to hook. You know what I'm saying? Pull hitter, righty, down the left field line. There's a lot of hitters, if they're out in front of a baseball, you know, that'll hook foul, but he hits it on the line so hard it has no choice but to stay fair.
Brings up Ryan Roberts, flying to center his first time. First extra base hit for the D-backs after 4 singles.
Thinking about bunting to get him over there. Fielder's back. Chase Headley's playing inside the bag at third base. A big hole on the left side. We talked about the hole on the right side when there's a runner on base being held on by the first baseman. My goodness.
Well, that is inviting for Roberts, isn't it?
Sure is.
Think he's really going to bunt here? No, he's swinging.
So he wants to drive that run in if possible.
See if that backs up Headley. He's playing bag high at third. Did not try to bunt, says first base umpire Titchener.
Maybe he's just trying to disrupt the timing by showing bunt to Clayton Richard. You see the pitch count. 66 pitches here in the top of the 4th.
Nice changeup. 2-2 on the tap man.
Good changeup. He stays on top of it. You know, he wanted to throw that inside. Nick Hundley was set up on the inside part of the plate. He has to reach way across the plate to catch that one.
A reminder, Monday, June 18th, the Padres will face off against the Rangers, the high-powered Texas Rangers. A 7:05 game, and the first 25,000 of you will take home a new MLB Network drawstring backpack. Buy your tickets early, save at Padres.com, or call 619-795-5555. A Monday night game against the Rangers. Fly ball shallow and right. Denorfia calling. No chance for Goldschmidt to advance. One away. Just looking ahead, excuse me, Mark, to the schedule after the Padres go on the road, 3 in Milwaukee, 3 in Seattle, 3 in Oakland. They come home on that Monday night. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night. You talk about buying your tickets early and saving.
Absolutely.
I mean, that high-octane offense of the Texas Rangers, Josh Hamilton and company. This is the time, 18th, 19th, and 20th. Get your tickets early. Parra grounded to second his first time. 1 out. Goldschmidt at second base. Fly ball center. Maben. 2 away, and Goldschmidt returns to second base.
Well, good job by Clayton Richard, the last 2 hitters, Roberts and Parra, with off-speed pitches. Getting them off balance, out in front. After that leadoff double, that is some big league pitching right there by Clayton Richard, but he's not out of the woods yet. Don't shut that toolbox. Wade Miley can hit, as we mentioned earlier.
And he'd like to make amends for the fact that Richard got in the tying run with that ground out. Miley hits as he throws. Got a quick bat, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He is not afraid to swing it. Look at him, tell him to keep that front shoulder in there. He even looks like a hitter.
Runners in scoring position. He's 3 for 7 in this season. Chop foul. Oh, Clayton Richard ahead 2 strikes on the opposing pitcher.
Got to be careful. That last pitch was inside. It was a good pitch. You can even see Miley kind of looking at his hand a little bit. He's shaking those bees out of that hand. See him grabbing his thumb there? He got jammed. Why? Because he got in his kitchen off the end of the bat, rattling that. Looked like it was off the end of the bat.
That rattled the knives and forks. Maybe the spoons as well in there.
He got jammed on that one. Anyway, he was shaking that left thumb of his.
Got him swinging. So Richard pitches around the leadoff double by Paul Goldschmidt. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Maven, Alonso, and Quentin coming up. Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Got a moment here. Time for our AT&T trivia question for tonight's game. Here it is. The Diamondbacks had not 1 but 2 first-round picks in the 2003 amateur draft. Can you name those 2? Of course, the draft that's appropriate because on Monday the annual June amateur draft will be held. The Padres have the number 7 pick, and of course we'll be covering that thoroughly, even though there's no game on Monday.
That's always an exciting time, isn't it?
I'd love to be there in the war room. You see 1, 2, 3, and Padres will have their list, trying to pick the best player available, and they'll have the top 10, 20 choices up on a board, and as they hope that somebody won't take one of the, maybe when they've got ranked 4 or 5. Last year, Corey Spangenberg was the first selection. He's hitting around 300, left-handed hitting second baseman. Ground ball right side, base hit for Maven. Padres have their second hit of the night and their best base stealer aboard. He has 14 steals.
Cameron Maven just beat the shift that the Diamondbacks put on him. Boy, he inside outs his baseball and shortens up the swing. Takes a pitch outer third and spanks it that way past Aaron Hill and Paul Goldschmidt.
Now, I love the home run as much as any fan. I love the home run. But I also have great appreciation for a guy that'll go the opposite field. Get that base hit, Tony Gwynn style.
Well, he was the best at that. And what else Tony was great at is that fastball in. He could turn on it as well.
Now, the D-backs are the best in the National League in throwing out runners. And Montero, a primary reason. A line drive, caught, and not timed for Bloomquist to get it across for the double play. Oh, Alonso nailed it, and Bloomquist takes the base hit away.
You know what's amazing about that hit off the bat? This ball is slicing almost out of the reach of Willie Bloomquist. That's a great play. The ball slicing away and keeping that runner at first base. May have been kind of jetted towards second base, but then realized it was caught and then scampered back.
You could forgive Yonder Alonso for starting to mumble to himself. 0 for 17, sure. And you hit a ball that hard, don't come up with a hit. Here's Quentin. His bid for a base hit up the middle was deflected by the pitcher Miley to the shortstop for a the second baseman for a 1-4-3 put out. Had Miley not nicked it with his glove, it would have been bounding into center field. First serious move by Miley to first base. Dave Roberts, you could hear him saying back. And a belated happy birthday to the first base coach for the Padres. In the off day yesterday, timing's perfect. He was able to celebrate his 40th birthday. Forever young.
Absolutely. He still looks like he can steal the bag for you. Quite a contrast with pitchers as far as pitch count between Richard and Miley. Richard has 73, Miley only 33 at this point in the game.
Incredible. Low and away. First pitch to Carlos Quentin. One out, Maven at first base. High, 2-0. Threw him a changeup. Well, speaking of rehab and Padre movement away from the game, that one way out in front, but hit up into the second deck in left field, about 30 feet foul. They'll have something to talk about for the rest of the weekend. Houston Street saw him with the duffel bag heading toward Lake Elsinore a couple of hours ago. And he will start the game tonight for Lake Elsinore, pitch 1 inning, then off tomorrow, and then he'll pitch again an inning on Sunday. And if all goes well, he'll be available for next week when the Giants come to town.
Hey, the skipper, the left-hander, Buddy Black, is paying a visit to the bat rack. He wants to take some hacks off Miley. Well, the Diamondbacks are smelling something. Miley going over there with regularity.
Off day Monday, folks. Draft day, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The Giants are here. A night game Tuesday and day games Wednesday and Thursday. Jammed him, and that ball, that shows how strong he is. Yeah. We don't see many hit over our head into the upper tier at Petco.
I tell you what, he is so strong. And as I mentioned when he first made the comeback in Chicago, Carlos Quentin loves the ball down and in. He can crush that ball down and in.
Go Navy in the upper deck. Back to the mound and deflected once again, and the out made at first base. 1-6-3 this time, but that might have been a double play ball had Miley not got a piece of it.
Well, second time around for Carlos Quentin. He's trying to keep the ball away. That's a changeup. That's another changeup. Going soft early. Oh, he got a fastball to rip out in front of it just a little bit. Trying to jam him. So what are you doing? Soft, soft, hard, hard, soft. And got him to top that baseball for the ground ball to short.
From that angle, not certain he did deflect it. It seemed to initially. We'll call it 1-6-3 unless we heal it otherwise, but it does move Maben into scoring position for Chase Headley, who grounded to short his first time. 1-1 tie here in the bottom of the fourth inning. 2 gone. Caught the outside corner. And Headley in the hole 0-2 with Nick Hundley due next. Right field, right at Upton. No runs a hit. Maben left at second. We've completed 4 and we're tied at 1. The first run of the game as Arizona took the lead. Then Amarista charges one to the opposite field away from Parra for a triple and is able to score on Clayton Richards. Slow tapper to a drawn-in infield. And that's it. 1-1 going to the top of the fifth inning. The D-backs in the third got singles from Bloomquist, Upton, and the RBI single from Montero for their run. They've out-hit the Padres 5-2 as we go to the top of the fifth inning and the top of the order, Willie Bloomquist. Well, for the Diamondbacks, and keep an eye on their offensive output. Their barbed wire is 4 runs. If they score 4 runs, they're tough to beat. If they don't, they're 2-21 under 4 runs. So they've not won any pitchers' battles this year. Kid at Kirk Gibson. He studied this hard at Michigan State. He's been a Phi Beta Kappa. Bloomquist caught looking. Second strikeout for Clayton Richard.
This is the pitch I was talking about right out of the chute for Clayton Richard. Command of the fastball in the inside corner to the right-handed hitters. You cannot place a pitch any more perfectly than he did there. He is locked in. The pitch count is up, but he still looks strong. Fastball's been up to 95 tonight, which is a good sign.
Aaron Hill 0 for 2. He was safe on a fielder's choice in the third. He's the man for the D-backs that scored after he forced Bloomquist. And then Upton moved him to second, and Montero brought him home. Two and 0. Clayton's walked only 1. He struck out the last 2 batters he's faced, Miley the pitcher and now Bloomquist.
Both these pitchers tonight around the plate. Miley's pitch count has been down this year. That's why he's been so successful.
That ball hit well to center. Maben drifting back toward the warning path. And that's a Petco out to straightaway center. Hill hit that one a ton. Well, our AT&T trivia question, that was an interesting one. That 9 years ago, the D-backs had 2 #1 draft picks. Could you name both of them? This is an interesting answer. One was Carlos Quentin, the other Connor Jackson. Neither still with the D-backs. 29th overall pick, the man from Uni High here in San Diego, Carlos Quentin. That one hit well to right field, but Denorfia can backpedal and squeeze. A quick 1-2-3 inning for Clayton Richard. We're at the halfway mark in this one at Petco. D-backs, Padres tied at 1. Ball brought to you by Sequan Casino. Get away for the day at the all-new Sequan Casino, San Diego's destination for casino gaming and excitement. And by your San Diego County Lexus dealer. And we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. 25-year-old Wade Miley, a solid 6-1 pitcher for the D-backs this year, facing Nick Hundley, Everett Cabrera, and Alexi Amarista. Miley showing his excellent control, has not walked a man. He struck out 2, giving up only 2 hits. The triple by Amarista, who came around to score on a ground out by Richard, and the single by Cameron Maben to the opposite field in the last inning. 1-2 to Nick Hundley, who struck out his first time up.
Dick, you make a good point regarding the no walks from Miley. That's his biggest improvement from last year. He's reduced walks from 4.1 last year per 9 to 2.8 this year, so he's around the plate.
Pulled to the left side, deep in the hole. Bloomquist, the throw in time. 1 away. Well, you can join the Padres as they honor the men and women of the U.S. Navy on Sunday. U.S. Navy Appreciation Day is presented by USAA. We hope we'll get to the park early and enjoy special pregame ceremonies as the Padres and D-backs wrap up this 3-game series. Get your tickets at Padres.com or call 619-795-5555. Cabrera struck out his first time.
Mark Sweeney is down there by the dugout. I've got a question after this pitch. You know, early on, it looked like, Marco, that both these ball clubs came out hacking.
Yeah, you could see it, and especially from the Diamondback standpoint, Wade Miley's really gotten ahead and stayed ahead, so it makes the Padre hitters have to be aggressive.
1-2 now to Cabrera with Amarista on deck.
Mark, are you surprised that we're halfway through the ball game and you don't see more hitters on both sides trying to disrupt the timing of these pitchers and possibly, you know, calling time?
It really is, Mark. And, you know, you have to slow these guys down. And like we said earlier, you have to go on your time and your speed, because if they dictate that as a pitcher, you're going to be a long night.
Just got a piece. Cabrera still alive at 1-2.
I mean, this, you know, it's not really the best comparison, but Richard Miley, I mean, we're talking Randy Jones, Jim Kitty Cott, like speed of a ball game.
We don't want to jinx it.
I know.
This is a good pace.
Now I did it.
Outside, Richard with a favorite Shillelagh. He would come up 3 away. Should we have a base runner in this inning, he'd get a chance to swing the lumber. Watch out.
Out.
Man, is that near you, Mark?
Just missed me. I should have had it.
You got to charge those line drives.
I tried to charge it.
Is that where it hit, down there?
Had to get my melon out of here.
Was it down there?
Right around here.
Really?
Yeah. Should have had that.
Yeah.
The official score is ruling it a base hit. Too tough to handle. Got him looking. So Cabrera struck out both times up tonight. 3 total for Miley.
I can breathe again, guys. Just want to check.
I thought that was a drum beat, but that was his heart beating we were listening to.
Yeah, you know, Sweeney always has had difficulty going to his left.
It's on my scouting report.
Ooh, that curveball found a piece of the inside corner. Amarista has the big hit for the Padres tonight, that triple, and sends a 2-hopper to the second baseman Hill. Wade Miley, 1, 2, 3, and on to the 6th we go. Still tied at 1. Willie Bloomquist taking a base hit away from Yonder Alonso on that line shot. That was big because Maven had singled the lead off the 4th inning, and Alonso drilled that ball headed toward left field. And Bloomquist played defensively, snuffed out a potential rally for the Padres. Here's the cleanup man, catcher Montero. A walk and a line drive RBI single. Tough out. Starts Montero with a changeup, too low. Slider misses. 2-0. Chris Young, then Paul Goldschmidt to follow in the Arizona 6th. Cabrera there near the bag. And there's one away. Chris Young steps up. Oh, speaking of Chris Young, do you see where the other Chris Young, the former Padre pitcher in the minor leagues, threw 7 shutout innings a day or two ago? So he might be about to rejoin the Mets.
Yeah.
That's good news for La Jolla resident.
Yeah, when he's healthy, my goodness, we know what Chris Young can do.
There's a case where the batter felt that Richard was moving a little too quickly and didn't want to operate at Richard's pace, so Young stepped out. And now takes a strike. Young has grounded out into a fielder's choice and flied to left. Whoa!
Nearly hit the ball on that one.
I love his demeanor, Richard. It just seems like nothing really bothers him. He's got that quick smile.
Yeah, he's having fun, huh? He couldn't help but smile after that one got away. It's all about making an adjustment after that ball puts a hole in the Lucas oil.
Well, we got a leak.
Yeah.
2-1. Pulled. Foul. Oh, was that close? That was skimming just off the corner of the third base bag.
Third base umpire Tony Randazzo has a look at it. Very close.
Inches foul. (28-year-old native of Houston, Chris Young, 4 for 9 against Richard coming into the game, and 2 of the 4 were home runs. Headley spins and throws him out.
Nice changeup right there by Clayton Richard. Tried to speed him up with a fastball. He fouled it back and came right back to a changeup out in front for the ground ball to Chase Headley. Took the sting out of that bat of Chris Young.
Interesting. Richard, 6 ground ball outs in the first 3 innings, and then 2 strikeouts and 4 fly ball outs the last 2 innings. Now he's got 2 more ground outs. Goldschmidt 2 for 2, and they both have been hammered. Line single to left and a line double into the left field corner. 1-1.
That is pinpoint control right there by Clayton Richard. Pounding the strikes. He'll get good downward plane on that fastball with a little bit of movement, as you mentioned earlier, Dick, on that fastball.
Down the right field line. That's curling toward the foul pole and out of play. Out of bounds off the foul pole, and our tailor-made driver.
Still waiting for those gloves.
What's the beg limit on getting clubs?
Every day.
Right down the middle, strike 3. Goldschmidt caught looking, and Clayton Richard with his 3rd strikeout of the game, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. Still tied at 1.
San Diego. Tie game between the Padres and the Diamondbacks right now, 1 in the 6th inning. And just an update for you on Houston Street as he continues to rehab that lat strain. Street pitched for Lake Elsinore tonight. He had 1 inning of work, as is the custom for a closer, 9 pitches and 1 strikeout as they played Rancho Cucamonga. Mark Grant and Dick Enberg. That's the latest word I present to you in the spelling bee. Cucamonga.
Cucamonga, Cucamonga.
Nice work it, Mr. Enberg.
Remember the old Jack Benny days? Was it Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga? He had the train, the caller of the trade tracks.
Yes, that was good stuff.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Got him swinging, and that's number 4 for Wade Miley. Well, Layla spent some time in her professional career in East Texas, and last night we're pleased to watch a musical at the La Jolla Playhouse, Hands on the Hard Body. And at East Texas, they used to have those marathon contests at 10, 12, and you'd have a new, in this case, a pickup truck. You kept your hands on it. The last one left gets the pickup truck. And
how long do these go?
Well, 4 or 5 days.
Wow.
They built a musical around it. Very clever, very entertaining. And it's going to Broadway.
That's awesome.
Big victory again for the La Jolla Playhouse that has produced so many good shows to Broadway.
How, these people like sleep with their hand on the car or something?
No, they can't
stay awake.
Because if you collapse or sleep,
I'd stick my hand right in the tailpipe and then fall, because there's no way your hand would fall off the car then.
They do give you a break, like a 15-minute break now and then.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
It's not like it's totally constant, at least in the play last night.
Right.
But wonderful voices and a terrific score, and of course sellout houses, because here you got a chance to see a show that could be a huge hit on Broadway.
Yep.
1-2 to Denorfia. Sliced down the right field side. That's a long run for Upton. Can he get there? And it's just foul. Just foul. So Denorfia returns to home plate as Upton pulls up that ball, well, what, 3 feet shy of the foul line. Denorfia has grounded out and popped up tonight. Wade Miley has shown why he's logged a terrific 6-1 record with a 2.41 ERA. He's allowed only 2 hits, no walks, struck out 4.
He's won each of his last 3 starts, allowing just 4 earned runs in 19 2/3 innings.
Off the right side, Goldschmidt able to beat Denorfia to the bag, 2 away. Well, tomorrow night on Baseball Night in America, Game 2 between the Diamondbacks and the Padres. Darren Sutton and Mark Grant for Baseball Night in America, presented by Budweiser. Coverage begins at 4 o'clock Pacific, only on Fox. Well, I'd like to come to the ballpark every day, but I'm staying home, putting my feet up, going to watch you on Fox. I'm going to check you out.
Oh, thank you very much.
If you're half as good as you are with us all season long, I mean, that phone's going to be ringing. The agent's going to be, let's get that Mark Grant. When he's not doing baseball, a matinee idol looks. I mean, you could go right to Hollywood. It's all open for you.
I want to stay here right with you.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much, though. You're much too kind. Appreciate that.
Part of why our job is, even in losing times, it's still the next day you get up, you get to go to a ballpark, you get to see big league action and work with a good person. That's fun.
I feel the same way. The feeling is mutual, my friend.
Yeah, it could be. Some people aren't so fortunate. Maben on a 2-hopper to Roberts at third, and Wade Miley rolling along, and so is Clayton Richards. 6 complete, 1-1 tie.
Ballpark as we are getting ready to go to the 7th inning here in a 1-1 game, and it's been all pitching.
Yeah, Wade Miley's been outstanding for the Diamondbacks, and so has Clayton Richard for it. San Diego Padres, it's a pitcher's duel here at Petco Park. Shocker.
And Clayton Richard matching Miley, that is, pitch for pitch.
Yeah, in a fast-paced game. Both of them are on a nice pace. Look for them to continue that as well.
So a 1-1 game as we send things back up to Dick and Bud.
All right, gentlemen. 5 hits for Arizona, 2 for the Padres. Line drive, Amarista. Ryan Roberts shoots one to the second baseman. That brings up Gerardo Parra with the pitcher Miley due next. Now Clayton Richard 4 pitches away from the century mark. We'll see how far Bud Black wants to go with the left-hander from the University of Michigan.
Well, Clayton has thrown as many as 108. That was back on May 5th against Miami.
On the inside corner. Parra checked in tonight at 261 with a couple of home runs.
Blue right center gap, wide open.
Shortstop Cabrera, 2 away. Couple well hit balls, a line out by Roberts and a sharp ground out by Parra. And if you're hitting the road this summer, take Fox Sports San Diego's coverage of the Padres with you. Subscribe to MLB.tv. See every Padres Auto Market game live online and on your favorite devices, all in HD. So visit Padres.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball coast to coast and around the world. Miley is flied out and struck out. Breaking ball outside. That's his 100th delivery.
And a little bit of movement, a little bit of action in the Padre bullpen. So Padre relievers starting to get loose.
That's going to be a tough play. And Miley has a base hit. I don't think either Richard or Headley could have thrown him out. That ball was just kangarooed off the front edge of home plate like a pop fly.
There's no way that this is Clayton Richard's ball. Chase Headley is charging. It does not look like there was any communication. Let's see if we can pick something up. Kind of tough to tell there, but with Chase Headley's momentum going towards first, if anybody was supposed to take charge on that one, that's Chase Headley's ball. But you're right, Dick. Even if he catches that one cleanly, I don't think they get Miley.
So he continues to hit. He's 9 for 21 as a hitter. Here's Bloomquist, a single and 3 at bats. And into right field, almost hit the pitcher. Miley heading towards second base. And with 2 out, a couple of singles. Bloomquist's second hit of the night. And that'll bring up Aaron Hill.
Well, we talked about the high chopper off the bat of Wade Miley. If you look at the lower right, Headley's saying, I got it, I got it. You can see him clearly yelling. By that time, Clayton Richard kind of screens him almost. And he can see him peripherally going to the baseball, and looks like Buddy Black's going to make a change, Dick.
102 pitches into the game. Clayton Richard, another quality start, especially here at Petco. And he leaves with 2 on, 2 out here in the 7th inning. Luke Gregerson jogs in from the center field bullpen, and we'll take a break. Petco, where the healthy pets go. By the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. And by Acura Advance. And welcome back to beautiful Petco Park in downtown San Diego with 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. The Diamondbacks have 2 on. In this 1-1 tie, Clayton Richard, a terrific outing as he has pitched most of his career since coming over from the White Sox, especially at Petco Park. Luke Gregerson takes over. There are his numbers. A couple of tough outings, and of course it doesn't take much to raise that ERA. He faces Aaron Hill. Starts him with a slider too high.
So a different look now for these Diamondback hitters. Now Luke Gregerson coming at you from the right side. He worked 2/3 of an inning on a Wednesday in Chicago. Struck out 2 Cubs and allowed 1 walk.
The pitcher Miley at second base, Bloomquist at first. That's in there, a fastball. Well, Wade Miley, with that infield hit, has an 8-game hitting streak as a pitcher going back to last year. That's an Arizona franchise record for a pitcher. Dan Herron had gone 7 games in a row with a base hit. Now Miley stands alone. Gregerson hopes to leave him alone right there at second base. Chopper to second. Amarista takes care of business. And that's it as Gregerson gets Hill to bounce out. Leave 2 men on base. Stretch half of the 7th. A tie game. Sundays on Fox Sports San Diego, join Tom Brokaw. Boys in the Hall, the personal stories of some of baseball's greatest legends. And this week, it's Ralph Kiner. Boys in the Hall, Sundays, presented by Subway restaurants where winners eat. Yonder Alonso trying to snap out of a 0 for 18 run. Hit the ball hard the last time, but Bloomquist robbed him. Ground ball up the middle, and that's going to squeak through. Leadoff single for Yonder Alonso. Well, the Padres in this 1-1 tie will bring up the heavy-hitting Carlos Quentin.
Always nice getting that leadoff hitter on base. Now the Padres need to go into Chicago Cub mode. And what I mean by that is 21 extra base hits in 3 games. They need an extra base hit right here in the 7th. Maybe a first and third action. Maybe even score a run.
Hitting coach Phil Plantier next to the skipper, Buddy Black. Quentin has hit the ball back through the middle both times deflected by the pitcher Miley. Ties him up. Low fastball. Got to be a thrill. You Our #1 draft pick. You're an outstanding collegiate star at Stanford, high school at Uni High here in San Diego. Come back and wear the home uniform, especially after that auspicious debut in Chicago as a Padre. Going 7 for 12, 3 doubles, 3 home runs, and 6 RBIs. Infield set for 2. Outfield playing him a couple of steps to pull. Pulls it to third. Little trouble getting a good grip, and Quentin is able to beat it out. Roberts had trouble getting the ball out of his glove, didn't make a clean transfer, so he gets the force on Alonso, but Quentin able to hustle up the line and is safe on the fielder's choice.
That has to be so frustrating for any infielder when you catch it cleanly but not find the handle. Hill, that's an acrobatic move. Aaron Hill going matrix on us at second base. That is not an easy play. In the air, catching the ball and then getting rid of it while you are in the air.
Here's Headley, ground out to short and a fly to right, and he chops one to third. Roberts goes there for one, back to first, not in time. Well, a mirror play from Quentin's ground ball directly at the third baseman Roberts. The Padres just unable to find the hole, the 5-5 hole on that left side.
Once again, another couple ground balls out of the hand of Wade Miley, working quickly, working down the zone.
So here's Hundley, a strikeout and a ground up. Miley's pitch count only 73, and he's got 2 outs in the 7th inning.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Hasn't walked a man. 4 strikeouts. Padres are hitting the ball, especially on the ground.
That ratio is just unbelievable. 57 strikes, 16 balls.
14 ground outs. And he's had retired 9 in a row until the leadoff single by Alonso, and now 2 more ground outs. Popped it up. That's sailing into foul territory down by the bullpen. And second baseman Hill, stumbling over the first baseman Goldschmidt, makes the catch. No runs, a hit. The Padres leave only their second man on base. Time brought to you by Miller Lite. Amarista, the little second baseman, with a triple, and Clayton Richard a ground out even though the infield was drawn in, wasn't hit hard, and Amarista running on contact tied the game at 1. Top half of that inning, 3 singles produced the Arizona run off Clayton Richard with the RBI single by Miguel Montero. New pitcher Andrew Kastner in the top of the 8th inning. Kastner with that fireballing 100-mile-an-hour heater. Had a couple of tough outings, however, on the road trip.
Yeah, the one outing in Chicago on Wednesday, pitched an inning, a couple hits, gave up an earned run. He walked one. He'd like to work on that walk total. 15 walks in 23 and a third innings pitched, but he is a strikeout pitcher. We all know that. 25 strikeouts in those 23-plus innings.
He also gave up that heartbreaking home run to Tyler Green in St. Louis after the Padres had taken a 3-2 lead on Guzman's 2-run double, and Green won it for the Cardinals 4-3.
Looks like Todd Hutchison, the trainer, is out to have a chat with Nick Hundley.
He took a practice pitch in the groin.
Oh, hey now.
Yeah, they call it the tools of ignorance. As the catchers will say, hey, we're the only ones that have to put on the armor. That's got to tell you something. We know we're going to get knocked around, take foul tips, wild pitches, collisions with runners coming in from third.
Takes a special breed, doesn't it?
It does.
To put on that gear and take a beat.
But it's also the only player in baseball that is turned around. The other 8 all face home plate. He's the only one looking out at the game and literally does run the game. The IQ demanded of a major league catcher is up there. You've got to study, you've got to know the hitters, you got to know your pitcher, you got to be a psychiatrist, you got to be skilled enough to handle tough pitches, have an arm to throw out runners. Here's Justin Upton, and slider starts him for a strike. Upton a single, a ground out, and a fly ball to right.
How about these hitters now for Arizona, and particularly Upton, that first pitch? You've got 102 in the back of your mind, right? And then he throws a slider. Doesn't seem fair.
Now the fastball, a tick under 100. Don Baylor, groove.
One of the best.
He sure was. I'm delighted to be able to call his games when he was with the Angels. Chases the slider.
Okay, you think 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and then you drop a slider down and away. Upton, look at the front side. Opens up, no chance. That is all arms and hands swinging. Body taken out of that swing.
And he gets him looking. Another slider.
Great location. At this point of the at-bat, Upton, he doesn't know what to think. Is he going to throw me the fastball? Is he going to throw me the slider again? Well, you got the slider right on the outside part of the plate.
Could almost call that, because he went to TCU, you could call that pitch a horned frog.
There you go.
Tough to get after that one.
That'll bring a smile to any pitching coach's face.
Montero
smiling ear to ear.
Montero a walk, the RBI single, and a ground ball to short. 99, but a miss. 1-0. High pop up. Foul territory. Hundley. And then you have to throw off your mask, go up, try to find the ball, and it's curling back into the field of play and make it look easy. Well, you can make it look easy and enjoy a Padres game in style with a Padres suite. I'll use that in a sentence. Padres suite, S-U-I-T-E. Suites can be customized to fit your group's needs and include flexible seating options, great food, beverage, packages, and much more. Visit Padres.com/suites or call 619-795-5555. 2 quick outs. Here's Chris Young. Young 0 for 3, a couple of ground outs and a fly ball. Oh, he's using that slider, isn't he?
Yes, he is. See, that's the pitch there that I think Andrew Cashner really wants to try to get better at. The slider away, and Nick Hundley was set up inside for the fastball. Now, I defy any hitter that takes a slider away for a strike and then trying to catch up to a 100-mile-an-hour fastball in. Good luck on that one.
Change up there, 1-2. Earlier this year, Young got a fastball and hammered it in April. No doubt about it. Line laser into that left field corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Did he go? No. Close. Near strikeout.
No, it was knee high, but just off the plate a little bit.
And he did check.
Well, he's going to be above 95. I mean, those are all fastballs. The changeup, high 80s, the slider, 90, 91.
100. Just out of the strike zone, too high. Paul Goldschmidt is on deck. Oh! All the way to the screen, and Young mentally counting all the body parts as he goes to first base.
You know, I think that was a changeup that got away from Andrew.
And Young looking out, giving Cashner the stare down. Young was barking at Cashner the whole time, and here come the mandatory support cast from both dugouts. No, Young, can we go back and look at this again?
That was a changeup.
And the ball, Young is looking away. I mean, he's stepping into that pitch. It wasn't that bad.
No. You're absolutely right there. Totally agree with you. There is no way that Andrew Cashner is going to be throwing at a hitter or 1-1 tie
in a 3-2 pitch.
Yeah, in the 8th inning, where a game is on the line. I mean, that's just totally absurd to think that Chris Young is being thrown at.
And there was a case where the hitter is looking for something away and stepping here. What's he's stepping in.
Yeah.
The pitch, that's the old Don Drysdale. You hit yourself.
Well, the radar reading said 89.
So that was either a slider or a changeup.
And you could see it out of the hand.
No, that ball is not that far inside.
No. You're absolutely right.
It's a world where the hitter feels they're immune, that anything inside is a ball. They can step out and go after it as far as they want. Now let's see if Cashner can come right back. Not be unsettled.
Young's not saying anything, but he sure is looking out there for something that he said or done.
Young has 2 steals is all this year. There he goes, and then he pulls back. A pretty good bluff. So 1-0 the count. We're in the 8th inning, a 1-1 tie. Cashner in relief. Clayton Richard went 6 2/3, gave up just the 1 run. Goldschmidt, a line single and a line double, both to left field against Richard. There he goes. Throw by Hundley. He's out. Kastner and Hundley will win that battle with Young. And the D-backs are out in the 8th inning. Got a fastball to work with. Perfect tag by Amarista. Bottom of the 8th inning, Cabrera, Amarista, and the pitcher spot against Wade Miley. Miley, efficient night, 75 pitches. He's allowed only 3 base hits. Line drive right to the second baseman, Hill. Well, that's a second sharply hit ball, but right to an infielder. Let's go back to the Kastner versus Young incident.
Well, it was a cat and mouse game when he got on first base. There was a shout match before, but Nick Hundley could have not thrown a perfect strike any better down to second base. And Nick Hundley, you think he was fired up?
Fired up for his pitcher, you bet.
Love to see that.
Oh, Amarista with a bunt, and he's got a hit. Alexi Amarista has 2 of the 4 hits tonight. A squared is aboard with 1 out here in the 8th.
Well, the right side of the infield, Goldschmidt, Hill playing back, plays perfectly. And the speed of Amarista gets him a bunt single.
Brings up Jesus Guzman to pinch hit for Kastner. Padres trying to strike here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1-1 tie. Guzman 5 for 13, solid as a pinch hitter.
Hey, you might see a hit and run during this situation here. Miley's been around the plate. He's a strike thrower.
Big hole on the right side with Goldschmidt holding on Amarista.
You've got the speed of Amarista, as you said, Dick. You've got that hole on the right side.
Miley has not walked a man.
Not really the best move from Miley. So believe me, Dave Roberts, Rick Renteria going over the move of Miley and reporting that to the base runners to pick up certain keys.
Amarista has only 1 stolen base since called up from Tucson. Here's the measure of the control of Wade Miley tonight. He has not had a single 3-ball count. Dale Thayer getting loose in the bullpen.
Well, they're thinking right along with us that something may be on.
1 ball, no strikes. Rick Renteria there, the bench coach with Bud Black.
You know, Miley's banking on Amarista going on that first move. And that's what will happen quite a bit. Base runners with the left-handed pitcher, as soon as that leg is lifted, they're off and running.
That ball's hit well to left center field. Way back at the warning path. Touch 'em all! Jesus Guzman. Guzman with his first home run of the season. A pinch homer, and the Padres lead it 3-1. Well, that's the kind of fireworks that the Padres didn't muster in April and May. What a way to kick off June.
After about 5 or 6 throws over to first base, Miley misses with an off-speed pitch. It looked like a changeup. And by the sound of the ball off the bat, you betcha. 2-run shot for Guzman, and the Padres take the lead. That is huge.
Chris Denorfia with 1 out. So it started with Cabrera's line out to second. Bunt single by Amarista, and off the bench Guzman with a pinch hit home run. Denorfia 0 for 3 tonight. A couple of ground outs and a pop fly. Marcotte, a pinch homer earlier in the year. That ball dropping in a hurry, and it's in for a base hit. Denorfia with a single to right. So after cruising along, allowing only 3 hits in 7 innings, Miley has given up 3 hits, including a pinch homer here in the 8th.
Just off the end of the bat, going the opposite way. Denorfia dumps one into right center field, and the Padres are getting to Miley so much that skipper Kirk Gibson is going to make a change.
Now these fans on Friday night, the Beer Fest, well, the suds are flowing in the 8th. Have a donut. With 1 out, and Denorfia at first. David Hernandez out of the bullpen, and he can bring some heat. Miley pitched very well, and the frustration of giving all you have in one bad pitch. Really wasn't that bad a pitch as Guzman went out after that outside delivery. A changeup.
Yeah, it was a 1-0 changeup.
That ball drilled to left center field. That may be up the alley. It is. Here's Denorfia galloping around third. He's on his way home. Going to third is Maben on a triple. It's 4-1. Cameron Maben back in the starting lineup with that sore wrist, has returned, and a single to right and a triple to left center. 4-1.
And he crushes a mistake. It was a hanging breaking ball from David Hernandez. He threw him a first pitch fastball. This kid Hernandez can get it up to 98. Denorfia scores easily, padding the Padres lead. That crooked number of a 3 looks nice in the bottom of the 8th here.
That brings up Alonso with Maben at third, only 1 out. Infield in. Run is charged to Miley, so you can complete the book on the left-handed starter for the D-backs. 7 1/3, 4 runs and 6 hits, no walks. The Padres have a 4-1 advantage. Alonso singled his last time, a bouncer up the middle.
You know, Dick, after that home run off the bat of Guzman, I was watching the field, and particularly Miguel Montero, the catcher for the Diamondbacks. He took off his mask and helmet. He was pounding it on the ground as if to say, my goodness, I can't believe you hit that. The pitch was in a bad spot.
Inside 3-0. There's that 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
But very frustrated, the Diamondbacks catcher, because of that man, Jesus Guzman. Yeah, some Padre love.
A chance for more. 3-0. And a 4-pitch walk to Alonso. That'll bring up Carlos Quentin with runners at first and third. 1 out. Kirk Gibson reviewing the inning. Cabrera line to second. Bunt single Amarista. He's been a key to the game tonight, hasn't he? Alexi Amarista with a triple and the bunt single, and he scored 2 runs. Guzman comes off the bench and clubs a 2-run homer. His first home run of the season comes on the first day of June. Then a looping single to right by Denorfia, a triple to left center Cameron Maben to make it 4-1, and now a walk to Alonso. Well, late inning excitement here on this Friday night. Line drive, base hit. Carlos Quentin knocks in another. A 4-run inning. It's 5-1. 7 RBIs for Quentin in 4 games as Maben comes home.
Swinging aggressively early in the count. All over that fastball. And the fastball is low. He crushes it right up the center of the diamond. It's nice to see the late inning excitement and padding that lead. Now 5-1.
That run charged to Hernandez. First and second for Chase Headley, who is 0 for 3 tonight. Anthony Bass into the game as a pinch runner at first base for Quentin. Ooh, that skips in. That was 5 feet in front of home plate, so slider.
Well, it's good to see some life in the Padre dugout after this road trip going 1-9.
Not many 4 spots in the 8th inning on this season, especially at Petco.
Hey, what do you got? Look at that. All those donuts. There's a French cruller. There's an old fashioned.
There's a glaze there. I saw a glaze.
Yeah, that's the glaze right up there. Yeah, you're right, Dick. Good call.
Off speed and Headley out in front. Alonso at second. Pinch runner Bass at first. Another off-speed slider.
Hey, that's a good day in the big leagues for Jesus Guzman. Now coming to the yard, seeing 2 pitches, hitting a home run. Good for him.
7 RBIs as a pinch hitter this year for Guzman with 6 hits. That's enough to make Mark Sweeney smile and then smile again. I just a guess that Mark Sweeney will be talking about Guzman
pinch hit home run tonight on the post-game show. Inside, but not by much. So Headley has not seen a fastball from Hernandez. All breaking stuff. And Quentin delivering an RBI single. 8 hits in 4 games, only 2 of them singles, but that one produces another run.
You know, we talk about Cardinal and Cub fans coexisting. We talk about Yankee and Red Sox fans coexisting. How about the 2 guys down in the dugout we just saw for the Padres? The Stanford Cardinal and the Cal Bear. Yes, there's a rivalry, but look, they can coexist. They're friends. They get along. You know what that is right there? That's a lot of Cal Bear and Stanford love.
High ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Couple of walks from Hernandez, so he has not been able to shut the door, and Gibson's going to go out and take him back. Gave up an RBI triple to Maben, first man he faced, then he walked Alonso, gave up a line single to drive in another run by Quentin, and has now walked Headley to load him up. So Gibson to the mound to take the ball. A dismal effort out of the pen for Hernandez. New pitcher for the D-backs is Brad Ziegler. He's well, these are the sidewinders, the Diamondbacks, and he's a side-winding right-hander.
Yes, he is. He'll give these Padre hitters a different look, but it's all about damage control here for Kirk Gibson and the Diamondbacks, trying to hold it at a 4 spot in the bottom of the 8th. Ziegler, a fastball, slider, and a changeup. Not a hard thrower. You know, that 83, 85 mile an hour fastball has some good sink to it. Keeps it right at the knees.
Quite an 8th inning here at Petco Park. The bases are loaded with a 1 out and 4 runs have scored. The first top half of the inning, Chris Young leaning into a changeup, thought that was a little too close, didn't like it, and then tried to steal. And the Padres get the last laugh in that counter. Then Jesus Guzman is our Carl's Jr. star of the game. Jumps off the bench to hit a 2-run pinch homer after Amarista had delivered a bunt single. And that has stirred the pot here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Padres went on to get a Denorfia single, a triple Maben, and an RBI single by Quentin for a 4-run 8th inning as they have batted around.
Dick, you just said something that I think that's very worthwhile mentioning and elaborating on. Stirring the pot. You know, what Chris Young did walking down the first base line, and he was looking at Andrew Cashner the whole way. I don't know what Andrew Cashner said, but it was almost like he was looking at him, waiting for him just to turn and look at him, and then maybe start a little bit of a ruckus. But everybody getting involved, Padres sticking up for their guy, Diamondbacks sticking up for their guy. Might have ignited this team a little bit.
Well, that's as much spirit as we've seen in the Padre dugout in quite some time. Of course, it's hard to see, as you put it, a lot of love when you're 1-9.
Yeah.
Hundley now trying to join the party. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Bases loaded. Padre over every pillow. Ooh. Number 4 went for 4 runs on 1 swing. On deck, Everett Cabrera, who started this go around the 8th inning, ignited a line drive right to the second baseman Hill. That's the only out of the inning. Ground ball foul. Since Cabrera lined out, a bunt single, a 2-run homer, a single, triple, walk, single, walk. That'll put a crooked number on the board, and there's a big 4 up there for the Padres, and they lead it 5-1. One ball, 2 strikes.
You can see what Ziegler's trying to do by looking at our Fox tracks. All those pitches down and in, trying to get a ground ball to the right side, left side, excuse me. With that arm action of Ziegler, it's a serious sinker down and in.
Smothered foul.
So you're a right-handed hitter. You've got this coming at you. Shows you his name and number, shows you his glove, and then at the last second, He's got that nasty sinker down and in. It's tough to square up, go up the center of the diamond. And you can see his toe is just in contact with the rubber there. That's all you need to do for a pitcher. That pivot foot, push-off foot has to be in contact with the pitcher's plate.
Low. 2-2. Be mindful of a terrific relief pitcher. The days of George Brett with the Kansas City Royals, Dan Quisenberry.
That ball lined to right field. Upton can't get it. Off his glove. 1 run scores. Alonso's in. Here comes another. Bass will score. A 6-run inning. Hundley winds up at second base with at first base with a 2-run single.
And on that ball, Chase Headley had to hold up. All the runners had to hold up. With 1 out, they weren't sure if that ball was going to be caught. It gets by. Upton in right field. Everybody is off and running. Now the Padres lead by 6.
They're going to charge Upton with an error in right field, but no at bat for Hundley. They give him a sacrifice fly for 1 RBI. The other comes in on the air. Still only 1 out. As the 10th man to bat, Amarista. It was his shortest of base hits in this inning that got it all started. A bunt single. And fans enjoying a score fest here at Petco for the Padres. Cabrera, the hitter. Out in front, 2 strikes. Cabrera started with a line shot, but right to the second baseman Hill, and that's still the only out of this inning. Chop to the left side, foul. It'd be interesting to see the last time in a close game, 1-1 tie, where the Padres have scored 6 runs in the 8th inning. I mean, that's just a rarity, especially at Petco. But delightful for these faithful fans that have come out on this Friday night. Fouled at the plate. Hernandez charged with 3 runs, and he's still responsible for Headley at second base. It's the second time this year the Padres have rolled a 6 in an inning. They scored a half dozen in the Miami game earlier. And we may see Yasmani Grandal, as Cabrera has made both outs in this inning. 2 away. And the young catcher, 23 years of age, moves into the on-deck circle. Let's see if he gets a chance. First, it's Amarista, a triple, a ground out, and a bunt single. He scored 2 runs. First and second, 2 gone. Boy, you can see that sinking effect of the side-winding Ziegler. A lot of balls beating up the worms around home plate.
Well, the key for left-handed hitters is to try to take that ball the opposite way rather than trying to pull that sinker.
Easy tap back to the mound, but the fans can stand and cheer. Jesus Guzman got it started after Amaristo's bunt with a pinch hit 2-run homer.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits and 6 runs in the 8th inning.
You just never know what you're going to find when you come out to the good old ball yard at Petco Park. You go back to the Arizona series here with the Padres. In the last 17 games, after the 7th inning, the Padres have scored only 8 runs in 17 games against Arizona pitching. They get 6 tonight in the 8th inning. And now Brad Brock comes in to try to close the door on a much needed Padre win to snap a 6-game losing streak. Paul Goldschmidt, a single and a double in 3 at-bats. He and Willie Bloomquist with a pair of hits. Will Venable comes into the game in right, and Norfia goes to left field with Maben in center. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Goldschmidt followed by Roberts and Parra. Pours in a strike at 91.
Here's a chance for Brad Brock to go out there and pound the strike zone, a quick 9th inning, and send everybody home happy.
Got him swinging. Good fastball. Makes it 1-2. That'll be out of play, off to the right. Locke, who has a brother, Brett, a couple of years younger, is a minor league pitcher. At Monmouth University, interested in history. And tonight, recent history. Try to get the job done here in the 9th. A high pop up right side. Amarista calls off Alonso for the first out.
Well, Padre fans, be sure to stay after the game. Stay tuned right here for Padres Live. We'll have a complete wrap-up of this game, including live interviews, the Bud Black post-game press conference. Padres Live, brought to you by Cox Communications, right after the game, right here on We Are Fox Sports. We Are San Diego. Fox Sports San Diego. Stay tuned.
You missed your calling. You'd have been a great cheerleader, you know that?
I mean, how did you know I didn't when I was a kid?
Well, maybe you were. I was
hooting and hollering.
Were you?
I wasn't down on the sidelines with the pom-poms, but I was hooting and hollering in the stands.
I actually was a cheerleader for the women's basketball games in high school.
Seriously?
Yeah. When I was a freshman, I was on the JV basketball team. I wanted to be involved in all. I was kind of not a trainer, but I carried out the bag of
like
Band-Aids.
yeah,
for the varsity. And then a cheerleader for the girls team. High pop up to the shortstop, Cabrera. Oh, that was way up there. Roberts pops up, 2 away, and here's Gerardo Parra.
You could do it all.
I just didn't want to be left out. You know, I figured anyway, couldn't play very well, so try to do something else. I was also the drum major on the band.
Oh my gosh.
And there's terrible evidence of that.
First pitch in for a strike.
Parra, 2 ground outs and a fly ball.
Strike 2. Changeup.
Didn't miss by much. Andrew Kastner, as the pitcher of record, will be credited with the win if Brock can get the final out.
Struck him out with a changeup. Hello, Petco Park. Goodbye, 6-game losing streak. Jesus Guzman's pinch home run, sparking the Padres to a big 8th inning and a 7-1 win. Andy Mazur, what's coming up next?
Well, Dick, a great big win there for the San Diego Padres.